Every time I see a copy of the Catcher in the Rye, I think of that movie Conspiracy Theory with Mel Gibson and Julia Roberts, and yeah, he's basically acting like the killer Mark David Chapman who killed Lennon. Who immediately as he shot Lennon, he just sat down on the sidewalk in New York and pulled out a copy of Catcher in the Rye and started reading it.
Have you read Catcher in the Rye?
Yeah, I read it in high school as a kid. Yeah, a memorable book, sort of. I could think everybody back in the '60s and '70s, we all had to read Catcher in the Rye.
Yeah, I had to read it, and I don't know if I cared for it that much the first time, but I had to read it a second time in art school because we had to do like a cover for it and things. And I actually got really into it then, which hopefully I can stay under control.
Yeah, so Eric's a little attracted to Catcher in the Rye.
But I did quite a bit like it.
Do you feel compelled to buy many copies, Eric?
I have one.
Sure. Well, there was a shocking scene in the movie when whenever he would get stressed or frustrated, he would have to go to a bookstore and buy a copy of Catcher in the Rye, and they knew that, so they're waiting for him to go into a bookstore in New York, and he buys a copy, and within a minute they're dropping from helicopters outside the bookstore to get him. So it shows you how they're watching you every minute, I guess. Got to watch out what you do.
I know, and then when that was like back in the day too, that was like in the '90s when they did that, and we didn't even know like they could track things like that.
Well, it was movies like that were showing that, and the Will Smith movie Enemy of the State with Gene Hackman. They were releasing secrets in those movies that people had no idea that they were able to do stuff like that.
Yeah, Enemy of the State's nuts from when it came out. You're like, no way.
We all could put our tinfoil hats back on and head down the street. Yeah.
But even like decades before that, with the Manchurian Candidate, they were putting that stuff out in movies.
Well, right, and when the Manchurian Candidate first came out, the character was so similar to Lee Harvey Oswald that they pulled the movie out of the theaters, and it became a sort of a suppressed movie. They say it wasn't really suppressed, but and then they made the remake.
You can't suppress it too much, right?
Yeah, I mean, certain movies are said to be suppressed. That movie, They Live.
My favorite.
Yeah, that movie was supposedly suppressed, although I saw it in a movie theater in San Jose. I was in Australia in the '90s, and people were saying, "Oh, that was a suppressed movie, and that you couldn't get it on video and that kind of a thing." But you can get it on DVD. I've got it.